Hey guys, Will here with MediaPlace, and in this video we're going to go over our design suite, how to use it, and how it can benefit your workflow. All right, so let's take a look at what we got here. All right, so we're already on the homepage for the design suite, and if you don't know how to get here, you can navigate on the left-hand column here, and you see under Create, there is the design suite. All right, so you have the option to open up projects and create projects in three different ways. One is you create a blank project, type in the name of your project, choose your resolution, and create, and this one you'll be completing completely from scratch using your own assets and your own elements, right? The second way would be to create just a standard slideshow as is. So from here, we can create that slideshow, choose a resolution, slide durations. You get a couple more options for music, transitions, and image effects that you want to be baked in, which you can change once you're in there, but this kind of sets up your slideshow to begin with. And from here, you could add in images that you have for your project from your synchronized folders within MediaPlace, right? You do that, then you would say import and selected, and then you would generate that project and would get it going. All right. The third way, right, is to use one of our really awesome pre-made templates, right, that you can customize and build and make your own. So from at the top here, you can see you can sort through the templates. If you're looking for square templates, horizontal or vertical, maybe you're working for reels and things like that, you can go from there. And then you can also, from the template section here, under each one from square, horizontal, and vertical, you can choose between your animated templates, right? Or just your static, right? And again, these are available for all three different variations of the templates, right? All right, so let's go ahead and select this template here, and then let's go ahead and call it, we'll call it burger reel. Hit create. And so now I have this template loaded in, and I'm able to come in here and edit and make it my own freely, right? Let's talk about some of the navigation tools and how to use the interface inside. So up at the top left here, we have our select tool, which allows me to select different elements inside of my template. We have our panning options. So say, for example, I was zoomed in working on something and I wanted to pan across. I could then left click and drag across the different parts of my screen. Fit will take me out of that and it goes back to the fit of the canvas there. And then of course we have our zoom out tools there, go one to one, and then we have undo, redo. All right. Current will play your current slide, right? So if I click on current, here is what it looks like animated. Say I've been working on this for a couple hours. This would be the final product that I would see. From here, we can go to all. If I had multiple slides, you could play it all and it would play through all of them, just like in the edit that you were working on. Publish allows you to export out your actual final slideshow. So do you want this to be a video? Do you want it to be MP4, WebM, MOV, quality, frames per second, resolution, and then you can choose if you want to save this within one of your synchronized MediaPlace folders, or do you want to save this outside, maybe externally to a different hard drive? You can do that as well. Maybe you just want to show an image, right, to a client, like a static design image. You can do that by choosing image, and then you can say if you want to save it as a JPEG, PNG, or WebP file. Then again, you can adjust the size of this to export out. And when you do an image, you have the ability to export just this one slide, or if you had multiple slides, you could export all of them out at one time as individual elements, and then you could show them to your client and get approval for your design, right? Same thing, you could export out into MediaPlace into a synchronized folder, or you could export out to an external hard drive or somewhere else on your computer, which is pretty cool. All right, so if we move to the right here, you'll see that down below this, we have the option to add more slides. So if I click the plus button, it'll add a blank slide, right? I could also right click and delete that from there, or I can add another slide from a template, a pre-existing template, right? So we can open up the templates and maybe there's something else that I like in here that adds some elements. So I could come in here, I could add to project right there, and it adds that secondary one. I could keep adding if I want. I could add another one just like this, just to show you how to add, right? And then once you're done, you can go from there. So now I have 3 different slides added from different templates, and you can go from there. All right, so that's how you can add a blank one or add one from an existing template. Okay, so I'm back in here now. If I move up to the top right, you'll see here is my layers section. So here's where I can adjust all the elements and their layers and where they fall. So for example, this 25% discount here, maybe I want this to, just to show you how to move it, you could move this 25% underneath the circle. So I can move it, see how the line moves in between. So as long as I move it underneath the discount circle, it disappears. So maybe you want to do that. And maybe you wanted to make this discount circle, you wanted to make the opacity lighter, you could do that too. But just to show you how easy you can move around elements with layers, right? So that you have that ability to work with layers inside of MediaPlace, which is really cool. All right. So now we can go to elements. Elements allows you to change the element. So for example, I have a font selected or a text. So I come in here, I could change the font itself. I could change its color. Instead of white, I could make it, black. So you have options to do that with alignment, opacity, border, shadow, timing, different things. And we'll get into some of the more detailed things in a more advanced tutorial here later. But for right now, just to show you how it works and how to use the design suite into itself. If I click on slide, here's where I can adjust the duration and the background for this specific slide. All right. So if I change the duration, you could change that duration to 3 seconds, right? And you can see down here in the bottom, it shows you the slide's duration for each one. So right now I changed that one to 3 seconds. This one is still 5 seconds. And this slide is still 5 seconds, right? So again, you have the option to customize specific individual slides for your needs, right? Which is pretty cool. And then again, for this specific slide, I could change the background out. So if I turn that on, open up the color for it, I could, for example, take this and make it like a tinted red for just this slide and only for that one, right? These are not affected. All right, so let me go ahead and turn that off and come back to my project here. And so if I move to the project one, you'll see I have the same option for a background, but this changes the background color for all the slides at one time, right? So if I want everything to have this reddish tint, then I can come in there and adjust it. And so now this slide, this one, and this one have a little bit of a red tint to it, right? So that's where you can do that. And then of course you could change the resolution for your project from here as well. So right now it's 1080 by 1080, but I could select a preset depending on which platform I want to put this to. They have different presets in here that you could choose from that help out for your project needs. All right, so that is kind of the layout for the right-hand section for adjusting elements, slides, and projects. I'm going to go ahead and put this background back to black there so we can see better. All right, so now let's talk about how we can add elements to our projects. So we can maybe, we want to add something across the board. I want to add another text box in there. I can do that, right? So if I go to add here in the top left corner, you'll see it opens up the option to import in images. So I could import in an image that belongs to one of these assets into themselves, or I could import images from in my synchronized folders inside of MediaPlace. I have the option to import in some videos as well, audio, text, right? So maybe I want to say, sail. So you could drag this into your image here and then resize it down and scale it up. Add one. Maybe I want to get rid of this $9.99 only, or this discount right here, this 25% discount. I get rid of that, put the sale in there in its place, and go from there, right? So I get rid of that, go back to add. And just to show you, so if you could add Lottie files, you could add shapes. So we have all kinds of shapes. And for example, you could search up stuff too. So if I type in food, I'll get all the food shapes. And so maybe this one I want to play across all my slides. So what I can do is I can drag this down to the bottom here, and it says add as global element. And so now this shape is available. It's going to show across all my slides at one time. So maybe I want this little logo to appear right here on the right-hand side. And again, I could change the color, right? So let's go ahead and make it like a black, just so we can see it for right now. So then when I come here, there it is right there, and then there it is right there. All right, so just another way of adding global elements across, you have that option too. It may be your company logo. It may be something you design that you need to have in there specific to your company, but you can then put global elements in across. You don't have to keep adding them to every single slide. So very, very efficient kind of tools there. All right, so that's an overview of how our design suite works, how it functions, and how you can speed up your workflow. Hopefully you got some quick tips out of here. As always, stay tuned for future tutorials and keep creating.